Yo, what up, man?
Crazy Kev.
Ciao.
What up, man? My name is now Pandji Papasono.
Papasono.
I think that's an easier way to say my name. It should be a brand name.
Papasono?
Yeah, Pandji Pragiwaksono is my name, right?
Yeah, it's still fire. I like people keeping their names and shit, but Papasono is fire.
It's funnier though, for me at least.
Papasono is dope.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here. This is just a regular chat because it's a way for me to get to know you more.
Yeah.
But also, we never had I always wanted to know, I'd find a way to know how it feels to be like a New York comic because you've been living it, right?
Yeah, well, you just saw it. There's a lot of arguing, right? People telling you shit that you're gonna do and then tell you it's other shit. Right, and then you feel weird about things, you know.
Yeah.
Then you get ambushed by things. It's like, what is this? You could have had the conversation with me first.
I think
before,
this is
or just tell me the truth. There's a problem with.
It's part of the hustle.
It's part of the hustle. Yeah, everyone wants something from you, and then when you ask for something back, immediately, you know, things start looking like you're the bad guy.
Do you think it's also because the further you go up in your career, money is getting more and more involved, and then arguments tends to...
Nah, it's not really about money at this point. Because I'm not making money doing this shit yet. You know, but I want to.
Yeah.
It's because we're all trying to carve out a lane, right?
Right.
So like, you try to carve out these fucking lanes, and sometimes like you're gonna step on each other's foot, right? And not necessarily like you doing it because like intentionally, but this is a very selfish endeavor.
It is.
The most selfish endeavor you can go through. You lose your friends, you lose your family, you know.
Well, stand-up comedy in general is
it's a solo act.
Yeah, it's a solo act. It's a very individual thing. Yeah, you've been doing stand-up for like, you told me 6 years, maybe?
Five. It would be 5. What's today? July 22nd. What's today? July 22nd.
20.
No, sorry. July 17th is my July 25th is my 5th year.
Oh wow, you remember the date?
Yeah, I remember the date.
How come?
100%. Because I gave myself, when I left the Army, I wanted to do comedy.
I didn't know you were in the Army. Did I?
No, I don't know.
You were in the Army?
I was in the Army. I was in the Army Infantry.
Wow.
And I was in the Old Guard, the most prestigious unit in the United States Army. And I was watching a special and I wanted to do stand-up.
Whose special you were?
Bill Burr, You People Are All the Same. It's one of my favorite specials of all time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I never saw someone, you know, he's like my Richard Pryor.
Right.
You know,
right.
He's like my George Carlin, for me at least, personally. And I saw that, I was like, whatever that is, I want to do.
Is it because I think he's from Boston, was it?
He's from Boston. Yeah.
He's from Boston. I mean, culturally you guys are very different, but maybe the way...
East Coast guys. East Coast people are very similar. But then, so when I got here, I was like, all right, when I put it in my head, I wanted to do stand-up. Fucking the very next day, it felt like somebody came downstairs like, yo, Kev, you like stand-up? I was like, yeah. He goes, yo, I'm running this comedy club. I give you some, not give you time, can you bring some people? You want to go hang out? I said, yo, I want to do this shit. He goes, yo, I give you some time.
Yeah, so it's like a bringer.
Yeah. And then I punked out.
Oh, why?
Yeah, because I didn't want my military buddies to see me. Because I thought all my military buddies were way funnier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You weren't always the funniest in the bunch.
Fuck no. The military dudes are mad funny, yo. Like, and they're early with it. 6 in the morning talking about your mom, your girlfriend. Trying to fuck your wife. It's crazy.
Did you ever serve like somewhere like?
I was guarding the Pentagon and the White House, and then I was doing a lot of funeral duties and shit.
Oh, that's crazy. So, let's go way back. What made you get into the military?
Money.
How much were they paying?
They didn't pay you shit, but it was honestly, it was about direction. So like, I was just scared I didn't have direction. And I didn't have direction. I didn't know what to do after, because everyone else around me, I grew up in Harlem, and everyone else around me, like, they had a ceiling and they couldn't leave the neighborhoods. So I couldn't go to them and ask them for advice because they don't know how to get out. Because if they knew how to get out, they would have got out.
I see. Yeah.
So the only option for me was I couldn't sit in school. I couldn't pay attention. So I was like, I'm gonna join the army, and I joined with my brother.
What was it like? I mean, in Harlem at that time that made you think like I got to get out of this situation?
I think you always feel like that growing up where I grew up. It's weird because now I go back and I feel embarrassed that I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or not embarrassed, yeah.
You felt kind of bad, like you...
Yeah, because they're good people. Everybody there is good people, for the most part. You know, they know you.
Yeah. So, and then you decided to go to military.
Yeah.
And then what was that like? I'm imagining it's way different than the life that you had before growing up in Harlem.
Honestly, not that much different.
Oh, really?
No, not really. Not in the infantry.
How so?
It was a lot of like we would do drills. Like this is how I walk around my projects.
Oh.
Right.
Oh,
this is how I walk around the neighborhood. Like,
right.
Looking through windows, seeing if there's any like if there's any danger.
Interesting.
Right. And my mom was very militant with us. You know, you wake up, you do your bed. After you do your bed, you put your uniform on. Right? After you put your uniform on.
So you're accustomed to it.
So I got there, I was like, this is like, my mother was worse than this. At least these guys can't beat me, you know?
It's really funny because when you thought that when you went into the military things were going to be different, and then you felt like, oh, this is similar but different.
Yeah. The only thing that was different was I was around a lot more white people. That was it. That was the only. I'd never been around that many white people before.
But then,
and sleeping with them and eating with them and listening to how they talk. You know? Or people from different states. Let's exclude white people. Let's not make it a race thing. Let's make it like just a different state thing.
Yeah.
Seeing the way people grew up from like Chicago, seeing how someone from Wisconsin is, you know, or fucking Kentucky. You know, and they end up being some of my favorite people.
Yeah. How long were you in the military?
4 years.
4 years.
Roughly.
Did you think like, nah, this wasn't for me, even though it's familiar, but this is not the life. It's just the direction that I need to take.
I knew right away.
Oh.
Actually, I knew maybe 5 months in, I'm not ring-listed.
5 months to 4 years is a very long time.
Yeah. I knew 5 months in, I wasn't going to ring-list. I don't know. I just knew it. It's not for me.
Right.
There's only so much orders you can take in your life. And then it's like every couple hours somebody's telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, you know?
So I don't think I have a friend who's in the military, not even back in Indonesia.
No?
No, I don't think so.
What's your military like anyway?
Well, we don't have any.
You don't have any?
No, we do. I mean, Indonesian don't go to war. We just go to United Nations peace missions.
So you're part of the United Nations peace treaty?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the Indonesian army, and Indonesian people generally don't like the
war
and the military.
They don't like the military?
No.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep. And we're here.
Do we have a base out there?
No, I don't think so. But here, people who are in the military are being respected, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, I see in the airports.
State.
Sometimes in the airports, people would be, parents with little kids, old people, and the military. There's always being treated special.
Kind of. I mean, yeah.
In Indonesia, it's not like that.
Nah. Spit on you in the way.
Yeah, no. But yeah, back to stand-up. So you saw Bill Burr's special.
Yeah.
And then you felt like, oh, this is something that you want to do.
Yeah.
Somebody gave you the opportunity, but you bailed out.
I bailed.
So when
3
was?
times.
Wow.
He gave me like 3 opportunities.
So when was your very
show,
first time? It wasn't even open mic then.
That was.
It was.
Yeah.
Eventually, it was an open mic.
Yeah.
Remember where it was?
It was in Broadway Comedy Club.
Oh, your first open mic was in Broadway Comedy Club.
It was on a Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Yeah, and I invited my little brother. My little brother's a wild boy. Like if you, he just like he's, you know, I don't know if you know about my little, but like he fights in the streets. Like he's like a crazy person.
You too, right?
Me not. I don't fight in the streets.
Really? No. Everybody seems like we're afraid of you. Like you could, you know.
Maybe. I don't think so. I hope not.
Yeah, but you have it in you. You have that Hulk in you.
I think you have to. If you were raised here, you gotta have a little bit of a. Toughness to you.
Yeah. Especially growing up, you need that to survive, right?
You definitely need to be a little tougher.
Yeah. So back into that Broadway Comedy Club. Yeah. Do you remember your first joke? The first joke you ever told?
I remember exactly what it was.
What was
I remember exactly what happened.
Okay.
I wanted to write a bit about this. I wanted to write a joke about this company in Wisconsin who was chipping their employees, right? I wanted to talk about that, and maybe some other stuff. I went up there. I have no idea what I was saying. I was loud, abrasive, but I felt funny. And then my brother was there. I'm walking to Broadway, and as soon as I see it, I said, you know what? Comedy is not for me. And I turned around. My brother calls me. He goes, turn back around. I saw you. Don't fail in front of me like this. Don't quit. You can fail, but don't quit in front of me. I'll tell you if you suck. And I walked in there. I did my thing, and he told me, he was like, yo, I thought you were better than everybody here, which didn't mean anything. Everybody else, I don't even know.
How did it feel to you? Did you kill it?
I didn't know. I didn't kill.
No?
I didn't kill, but I did all right. I did well enough. People were laughing.
Did you have like some like a direction? Who was the other comics that were in the same class, so to say, with you?
With me?
Yeah. Like Josh, maybe?
Josh started a little before me, like a couple of months. So yeah, the same class.
Anybody I know, maybe?
I don't know if you know them. To tell you the truth. Honestly, bro, everybody I hang out with either started a little bit. Everyone started a little before me. I think Dylan's the only guy I hang with that started like a year after. Yeah.
Right. DC?
DC started a year before me.
Yeah. Oh, so it's generally.
So we're on the same class.
Yeah. And did you have like somebody who was like a little bit more, I don't know how to say it, but more senior to your class?
Say again?
Like somebody that you guys look up to, the guys in your class look up to during those years. The kind of people that you said, I want to be like this guy. I mean, not like Bill Burr, but somebody you frequently see when you do mics, and then you're like, oh, this guy. Like for me, I don't know if you know this. There's a comic. He's not a New York comic. He's from California. His name, I think it's Sammy Obeid. Do you know?
No.
He was actually on the same show at the Producers Club.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this guy is good. And then he had the direction that I felt like, I think this is the direction that I want to take in career. Like during those early years, do you have comics like, oh, what he did, I wanna go that route? Or you never felt like you needed?
I don't know. I can't. I know I wanted to be original. I wanted to not sound like nobody. I think there's people now who I really look up to. Like I like Leo Compresi.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's great.
Yeah.
I like, but he's very similar to me in how we talk and where we come from. Damn, I'm trying to think. Oh, Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis.
So this is gonna sound crazy.
I remember.
I don't think he's like. Depending on where I'm gonna be in life, I don't know, in comedy in the next few years. Shane Gillis. I don't know how to explain this to you. Shane, I was seeing him at open mic still, but he was like already about to blow up. Everybody knew like he was on Legion of Skanks a lot. He was on other stuff.
Yeah.
So damn, it's so hard to have an argument.
I know. But yeah, Shane Gillis.
So I saw Shane Gillis, and I saw.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch. I remember you and Josh said that you started out on the same class, more or less. Where did you meet Josh for the first time?
At an open mic.
At an open mic?
Yeah.
At the Producers Club or
no? I don't even know about it. We met I'm pretty sure we met at what is that called? They opened up in Texas.
A comedy club.
Yeah.
But it's not open
anymore here.
No. Oh.
No, I forgot what it's called. Rebecca Trent owns it. And Legion of Skanks used to perform their podcast there. Ari Shafi used to be there all the time. I can't remember.
But what made you
connect with Josh?
Yeah, connect with Josh. Because you guys are I think you're pretty different.
As comedians,
Yeah, as comedians, also your upbringing is just different culturally.
Yes and no.
Oh.
Yes and no. He grew up. He's like 10 years older than me, so he grew up in a different time, totally, bro. So, but this I connected with Josh because he was funny. He had great stories. Actually, I'm lying to you. The first time I met Josh, was at this bar show in Queens. And I thought he was hilarious, bro. But at the time, he wasn't even doing stories. He was doing one-liners.
He does that, yeah.
Right?
He's done that in his Facebook posts, sometimes in his tweets.
Yeah.
It's also funny, yeah.
Yeah, and then we did a podcast right after the show, and he was telling the craziest stories, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I'm a fan. I was a fan right away.
Was he the kind of comic that helped you shape your comedy skills?
I'm sure he has, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More like he helped you than you helped him?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, how did you learn comedy? Because when you start doing it, you felt like it was natural to you, but it wasn't necessarily like...
It was good. It wasn't good.
Yeah. So who helped you shape your...
Just going to open mics, comparing yourself to other comedians who are way ahead of you for some reason, and then going, fuck, I can't. This guy's telling us we're scared to host a show now, which is annoying.
I know.
It's so fucking crazy. This is what it is.
Yeah. So just to put into context, right before we're doing this, Kevin had an argument. It's about comedy business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that's why Kevin said that's what happens sometimes. Yeah. What was the first stand-up comedy related argument that you had?
It's always about. Oh, the first one was like when me and my boy Eric used to run a show in Tribeca, and sometimes he would get mad. The first real one I remember was I was smoking on stage.
Oh.
I just put out some weed, and I asked the owner beforehand. I just didn't tell my co-producer, so I started smoking. But we had like a beer sponsor. So Eric was upset. He was like screaming at me. I'm like, yo, why are you yelling at me? And then the beer sponsor comes up to me and goes, that was awesome.
Eventually everything went.
No one cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was passing a joint around. I was like brand new. I was like maybe 2 months in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you, after 6 years?
I can't believe I did that 2 months in.
Yeah.
5 years.
No, but 5 years. 5 years into comedy. I think everybody I meet during open mics, I can mention names. I meet a lot of comics that are everywhere doing open mics.
Yeah.
I don't generally meet you.
Yeah.
Do you don't do open mics anymore because you've been doing spots?
I do open mics. I need to do more. To tell you the truth, I need to do more. Sometimes I don't know if it serves me all the time to do it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm like, we're not getting a reaction, no one's paying attention. I know how to speak on stage.
That's where I'm getting at, actually. Yeah. Because here in New York, when people do open mics, it's not to get a reaction. I do it because I need to memorize, because it's not my language. Yeah. And you don't need it. You don't feel like...
I need it sometimes. Like, sometimes I feel rusty, and I'm like, fuck, I'm doing this show, and I'm like, I could feel my rust, And then sometimes, but I don't need as many. I don't know. It depends, bro. It depends. You don't see me honestly because I was doing 2 podcasts a week before.
Yeah.
Then doing producers clubs and whatever show will book me, right? And then shit. I'm sorry. I just lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay. But so I know a lot of comics, I think they're trying to get booked into clubs, booked into shows, and gain some sort of reputation, and then collect solid jokes. So you have a 30-minute special, and then they put it out somewhere, maybe on YouTube, maybe hopefully on Comedy Central or whatever, in order that one day get a Netflix special. Is this the route that you're doing right now, or you're just saying, I just want to do comedy without having, milestones to achieve?
No. Hey, Kevin, get some goals. Well, what I want to do is develop a fan base.
I see.
Right, that's why I'm doing these podcasts. That's why, I'm trying to get on other people's podcasts. And then I want to get really good at stand-up. Really good. And I feel like I'm good right now.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you.
You're one of my favorites.
I appreciate it, bro. And I want to put out great material. You know?
I can mention some of
the bits?
jokes,
Yeah,
the bits that you do that I like.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, yeah. I mean, those are solid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mean you need to make more of those? I
need to make more of those. Yeah. I need to make more. I'm not gonna put out a 30-minute special my 5th year in, or an hour in. I'm not gonna put an hour or 30 minutes out my 5th year in, because I know that maybe 5 years from now I'm gonna be like, why did I put that out? You know.
Makes sense.
And unless like I started performing every day at a club, and I feel like, okay, I'm burning through material. I like this 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Let me see if I can put something. Let me see if I can put 10 minutes of it out. You know? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's different way of thinking compared to comics in Indonesia, and I'm also an advocate to those kind of thinking. A lot of comics in Indonesia felt like their first special is always going to be shitty, or their first 30 minutes is going to be shitty. But it's like a ground base that you can grow from.
Yeah.
So in Indonesia, young comics are putting out
30-minute special.
Yeah, 30-minute special.
What's a young comic in Indonesia?
Somebody who's been doing it for 3 or 4 years. 3 years. Yeah. But it's different. Whereas in New York, I remember I read it somewhere. I think Chris Rock took 7 to 8 years to even want to appear on TV. Like Seinfeld waited until he has like multiple 5-minute sets before he wants to go on a Tonight Show. Comics in New York waited until they are more solid as a comic before they put out work. It's different.
I don't want to wait. I don't need to wait till I'm like, listen, I don't mind putting out like a 5-minute clip or 3-minute clip, right? But I know that I don't get up on stage enough to put out 40 minutes or 30 minutes, right? Like the moment I start doing 20-minute sets every night, then I'll start thinking about putting out longer things out there.
So right now, I saw you from your Instagram. I saw you regularly performing for shows. How do comics get booked like that? Yeah, because I think those are, how do you say it, self-produced shows? Yeah. They're not shows, not all of them are club shows. Yeah. So how do you get booked? By reputation, or?
Some of it is reputation. Some of it, people saw me at other shows, like, oh, you're funny. You want to do a show. Some of it is because I produce a show, and we trade spots.
Oh, trade spots.
Yeah, and people get mad at that. It's like, well, why are we pretending here? Like this is part of what we have to do right now.
So trade spots meaning if you produce
a show,
I produce a show, you go on my show, and vice versa.
Vice versa.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily, just because you go on my show this month, I might not be able to get an intro for 3 months, right? Because you're booked, you know. But eventually we'll. But mostly I book people who I like. You got to see me when I'm like, oh, I don't want to. And I walk away. I'll leave. Come on.
Yeah. So right now, you are, I don't know how this works. At the Producers Club, you're almost like a regular.
Yeah.
You and Josh. Yeah. Was that also one of the self-produced show? Because you get booked almost like on every Mic'd Up NYC. Also, Josh is always the host.
Yeah.
Almost on.
We just got in there a little early. They liked us. Like the person who runs it likes us. And she believes in us, and sometimes you gotta be at places like people shit on me all the time for doing Producers Club. But it's like, yo, I gotta be with people like me, like where people, when they see me, I want to see what this guy's gonna do. Yeah, that's the purpose of us doing stand up.
Yeah,
right. And there's places you come here, like if I go to New York Comedy Club, no one's paying attention to me. I'm not talking about people regular shows. I'm talking if I do mics and stuff like that. Now, if I was booked at New York City Comedy Club and Sesh or name any club.
Sesh is a comedy club? I've seen clips of it, but I've I thought it was like a. I didn't think it was a comedy.
Oh, it might not be a club. I don't remember, bro. I'm not talking about Sanchez. I'm talking about some other spot. There's so many spots in my head.
Right. So, do you have the perfect set that you've been performing? Like,
you talking about type 5?
Yeah.
Nah, not really. Like, I do, I can. But I feel bored doing stuff like that. Like, I can't be confined to. This is silly that I'm about to say this, but I feel I don't like being confined to you got to do your 5 minutes. I don't know why I don't like that.
You don't have jokes that you've been telling for.
Of course. Yeah.
You do.
I do. I've been telling for years, right? But sometimes you go in there and you're like, I don't. Oh, this crowd, I got to do it this way, right?
Oh, I see.
Right? Like especially if you don't go up first, you know, or you're not hosting, you're like. Okay, this crowd is. Oh, I see this person. They cringed at what this other person said. All right, let me ask why.
I see.
Right?
Yeah,
let me formulate.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, to me at least. But then you do like I was doing a showcase show to get past at the club, and the second time I bombed, right? But the first time I did it, he was like, I would like to see if you stick to your material a little more. But it was like, yeah, sure, but something bombed a little bit, and I wanted to recover, right?
Yeah.
It's, that's what it is. This is mad hard at this stage, bro.
Yeah, I think it's the last show that we did at the Producers Club. Josh said it's one of those shows where there are more comics than the audience.
Yeah,
it's really interesting because I think no matter at what stage you're always going to be in those kind of shows.
Oh yeah. Oh, unless you're Chappelle.
Yeah, unless you're Chappelle.
Yeah.
But when you're in this phase in your career, that's always going to happen. When do you remember the show that had the least audience among the crowd? Like,
yeah,
you remember?
Yeah.
How many was it?
2.
When was this?
2. 10 comics.
I remember I produced the show. It was at the exact day the government announced there's the first COVID case. So there are 7 comics and 2 people in the audience.
This is in
Indonesia, in Jakarta. Yeah.
And when you produce that show, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You're like,
oh
shit, bro.
The comics actually pulled out a chair and decided to just, like it's almost like having a chat with the audience.
Yeah.
When was this show that 10 comics, 2 people?
It's not even that, like maybe last year, a couple of months ago. It happens all the time. It happens so much, especially in New York. There's so many options here.
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of weird. They can actually watch anything they want.
Yeah.
But to show up at a comedy show, it's really interesting. It's almost like a miracle for them to want to. It's crazy, right?
Bro, it's like, okay, I can go to this comedy show, and they can poke fun at me. It can suck, right? I cannot find it funny, or I can go see Lady Gaga. At Madison Square Garden for like, oh shit, roughly around the same price. Okay, let me go.
It's crazy. They could have sometimes the other day when we were running the show and there were only 4 people in the audience, I was like, maybe they were watching Hamilton. I mean, they have options. It's not too far away.
Yo, exactly. And then they get tickets for cheap now. Like you find out StubHub and yeah.
It's tougher now to bring in an audience.
It is and it's not, bro. Like you gotta hustle too. You gotta really hustle. Like sometimes it's like if I was Producers Club, I would try to like what do other clubs do? They have barkers out. They don't put them right in front of the club, but they put them in that street, on 9th Avenue. You can have them there, bring some people in. People will come. I've seen it happen. Like,
I was trying to understand because barkers. I generally find barkers, I don't know what the name of the street, but leading up to Times Square or at Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
There's a lot of barking there. So what they're trying to do, they're just trying to lure in people that didn't have any plan at that time.
They're just walking and winging it.
Wow. There are people like that.
Of course, because this is a bar hopping city.
Ah, interesting.
Right? There's so many bars, there's so many options. People go, well, let's spend the day, we just walk around and see what happens in New York.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, in Greenwich Village, it makes more sense, I think, because sometimes people they want to go to Comedy Cellar but couldn't get the ticket, and then somebody's barking, and then let's just watch comedy. And comics are generally entertaining. They're solid comics. But when you're in Times Square, like I think Josh went the other way. Me, Josh, and I'm sorry, I forgot the other comic, was also barking. Josh was going towards
8th Avenue?
Yeah, I think so. And the other one went the other way, and I was standing right in front of Producers Club. I think that's where you get more people standing.
You can, but that location has a lot of crackheads too. So
it was on my set actually. I told that when I was barking, there's a homeless woman asking for $1. And she made more money than I made. But yeah, it's been 30 minutes. Thank you very much.
Yo, I'm sorry this was a weird interview for you.
No, it's not. It's not. It was. I was actually worried that you might not. And it's okay. It's fine if you want to reschedule.
No, it's
if
fine.
you, yeah.
No, it's fine. This is real. This is real life.
Yeah, it's really interesting. If somebody's watching from Indonesia or whatever, right? It's in English, and then they want to make that leap. They want to do stand-up here in New York. What would be the thing that you would like them to know beforehand?
You're not going to get a lot of stage time in front of real people for a long time, unless you built up a name for yourself and you open for some New York comics that are past at clubs, and they could possibly recommend you for clubs. But in the beginning, especially if you don't have that time opening for other big-time comics, it's going to be very difficult. So you'll get more time where you're from at the local club than you will in New York City in front of real audiences. But in New York City, if you want to get good faster, you come here, and because you could do so many spots. Because in the beginning, it doesn't even matter. You could barely do 5. At least I could. Maybe you're a savant. But yeah, that's I don't know if that made sense.
It makes sense. I feel like the comedy scene outside New York is very different from New York.
Very different.
Very different. Because a lot of comics, they say, oh, it's different here. Back where I come from, we do open mics, it's different.
There'll be 50 regular people at an open mic at some places outside of the state.
Right. Right. So, before we close this, every episode, I wanted to ask a New Yorker a word that I hear a lot, but don't really understand what it meant or how to use it.
Okay.
And the word is queef. What does that mean, and how do you use it?
I'm assuming you heard it from Mark Norman too much.
I think I heard it from Mark Norman, but I heard it somewhere
queef?
too.
You just hear random people say, "Hey, queef."
From YouTube, I think. From Instagram, YouTube? Yeah. What does that mean?
Queef is a pussy fart. When air goes inside of the vagina, and you take, when you have sex with a girl and you pull out your penis, and then you put it back in, and you hear.
That's a queef. But sometimes, I think Mark uses it to describe someone. Oh, you're a queef, or maybe it's the same. You're a dickhead or something.
It can be. I mean, I don't know. Queef is a beautiful sound in my ears.
All right, so I understand now. I understand.
I don't know why people use it in the context of New York. I don't know how they're using it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a diss, but I don't know.
Yeah. But to you, it's a beautiful.
To me, it's music to my ears.
All right. Thank you very much for doing this.
Brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Terima kasih udah nonton video ini, dan juga terima kasih udah subscribe kanal YouTube gua. Gua mau ngasih tahu bahwa gua membuka YouTube membership, dan ada 3 jenis penawaran. Ada 1 paham Rp30.000, ada 1 rasa Rp125.000, ada 1 jiwa Rp1,5 juta. Masing-masing punya manfaat-manfaat tersendiri. Ada konten-konten khusus yang gue siapkan untuk para member. Kalau tertarik, silakan mampir ke home, klik join.